so huge that our budget cannot fund it. Yeah. So the government recognizes, and rightfully so, that the private sector and the public sector are not going to work as two separate people. We're going to work together. One sets the rules of the game, the other able to attract the investment, and they deliver on it. That is a fine approach to go. And what, like I said, what Dr. Ibekachuku was, I believe, was seeking to do was to fast-track the process as well by using a repair, operate, and maintain, rather than outright privatization, which is a middle-of-the-road approach. Also very good. What is missing is that no matter how good the intentions are, if the process cannot provide for transparency and accountability, we would have a problem down the line.
So, the way, as we stand now, the Senate has shut this down, or appears to have shut this down.
Yeah, it should be shut down.
It should be shut down outright.
Yeah, that's just not true. Look,
because there are two entities involved.
They shouldn't even waste too much time in doing investigation. The process is just, there was no process. They would only get the benefit to understand that this was how we emerged, right?
Did you read the clarity as posted by Orlando?
I not only read it, I dissected it.
Okay. So when you say there's no process whatsoever, and then the Minister of Petroleum, State for Petroleum, talks about Ajib taking up
Oando tell you that they bidded along with others? Did Oando say to you they were invited to bid?
Mr. Oyemi, tell us, how did Oando acquire this job?
The real person who should tell you that is Alex himself, who wrote that. Because I would like to know how a national asset was handed over to them. I would also like to know.
You haven't seen anywhere that the bid was thrown over.
You're not talking about a market stall. You're talking about a refinery with a history of having gone through those. You of all people, you've known the stories you've read so many times about turnaround maintenance that never went anywhere. They'll do the turnaround maintenance, we go. Now, look, they want to do a wholesome package. It's also good to communicate to people to let us know that this process is not just a one-off thing. They will repair, they will maintain, they will even increase capacity, and it will be sustainable, and the government does not have to come and put money back again tomorrow or be making excuses. That is the end goal which everybody wants, right? Make it clear.
But you can do that. A company may bid, companies may bid, and you select one, and he still can't deliver on all those things you have asked him to do.
If that process were to happen, that they went through a bidding process, and they gave it to a company, and that company cannot deliver, then the person in charge of that process should be held responsible for either not just incompetence, but we are talking about a national asset, it's not a company. Do you think in this building, you will give a contract to put up that other building outside, and then you would have done it through competitive bid, the person would mess it up, there will be no consequence for it? There has to be. It doesn't happen. Don't also forget that this bidding process also follows international best practice models. There would have to be guarantees, there would have to be certifications. It is not going to be the case. It may as well, like I keep on referring to, that Oando will make a bid. There will be three major determinants there. One, there will be the ability to provide the funding, which is most important. Second is the ability to understand that these refineries are very old. You can only run them for so long without having to make huge investments again to modernize them. That is where it requires you, therefore, to understand that these people, what is this pathway which they are setting up?
Okay, let me take you, let's just go back a bit. You use an example of the telecom industry in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But you also know that within that open processes and the bidding processes were properly done. As you said, we had the telecom industry pick up, and Nitel shut down, and we have all this, we have GSM everywhere. But you also know that about some companies shut down and had to leave. And recently there was out there in the media that some of the processes that led to an Econet leaving Nigeria or some other companies, you know, the name changed several times.
Econet had an internal problem.
Was it an internal problem? It had nothing to do with the process? But that's just one. That's just one company. What are the other companies?
Yeah. It's still existing.
But what about the other companies? Are they the only company that has left Nigeria? I mean, the telecom sector.
Look, the bidding process.
Nitel was sold for a while. It was reversed.
Look, you can nitpick as you want, but you have to separate something. The process as distinct from how they run the company going forward. The process was to give licenses to you to provide it. The NCC kept on making sure that along the way, he managed the whole process. That it's not just we give you the license and give you the concession you've won, but they took them through when they wanted them to have mast. They insisted they wanted them to have this. Those were part of the guidelines in place.
I'm going somewhere. So that's that angle of midwifing the process, right?
Obviously.
Midwifing the process.
Obviously.
That didn't happen in the power sector. And now, as you said, we're having complaints from the operators, from the government, and from the...
Everybody is complaining. Okay. And you see, when everybody is complaining, it's just like what I've described. If you look at that process through which everybody emerged, it was more like allocation rather than competitive bidding. If you find a situation whereby your Gencos are complaining, your Discos are complaining, the customers are complaining, the government is complaining. So who is?
So are you saying that even if you do midwifing, because you have a picture of what you see you have a picture of what you want to see at the end. So even if you do allocation and proper midwifing, we can't get there?
See, keep looking at the word bid, not allocate. I said if you do allocation, I said bid.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll look at the differentiation between bidding and allocation.
Not allocate.
Not allocate, bid. We're back shortly. Don't go away.